When I'm looking at buying a used acoustic guitar, there's a number of different things that you should be looking at on the instrument. But let's go over a few of the like holy grail things that I do not want to see, or else I really can't consider buying this guitar. And I guess the first and foremost is going to be the way the neck meets the body of the guitar. And this is going to be a dead giveaway by the action, right? You've all played a guitar with terrible action such that it takes, so much space to press the string down, you basically can't play it. And that is kind of like the end stage for most acoustic guitars. Over time, the tension of the string changes the neck angle, either reshapes the neck of the wood itself or the wood of the neck itself, or it changes the angle at which it meets the body. And to fix this requires a neck reset. And if this was a Martin or a Gibson or a Taylor or your great-grandfather's hand-me-down guitar with a high degree of sentimental value, you would pay a luthier a fairly substantial sum of money to perform a somewhat invasive repair where you drill some holes through a removed fret, and you apply steam, and you physically remove the neck from the body of the guitar such that you can tailor it to fit again at the proper neck angle. So all of that is definitely stuff you don't want to be dealing with if you're buying a used guitar. So the first thing you're looking at is, what is the action at or about the 12th fret? And the worse the action is, the more likely you're dealing with a guitar that has a fatal flaw that there's not really going to be anything that you can do about it. So there's a few things that you should look at to see if the guitar actually has low action or if somebody's just faking it. And it's not that somebody's faking it, but like when the neck starts to bow over time, the first thing that most people are going to do is they're going to take the saddle out here and they're just going to file some away, sand it, a few thou off of that so it sits a little bit lower, thereby getting you a little bit of that action back. And so that's kind of like the hallmark here. If I pick up a guitar and I notice that the action is really bad, the next thing I'm looking at is the saddle. It should stand fairly tall, fairly proud of the face of the bridge here, like 3/8 of an inch or more. And a lot of the times it isn't. It barely is enough that the string's clear touching the bridge itself. And that is a guitar where somebody's already done everything they can do to it to try to keep it a playable instrument. If you've got nothing left on the saddle there and the action's still terrible on the 12th fret, very likely you're going to be looking at a neck reset. So probably you're going to have to pass on buying this guitar. So that's the first thing that I'm looking for, is the action and the playability at the 12th fret, and then using the saddle to determine how much, has somebody already made adjustments here to try to compensate for a neck angle which has changed poorly over time. Since we're talking about the neck, that's the next thing I'm going to be looking for here. Really, this neck attachment is kind of everything on the used guitar. So the connection point on both sides here where the neck meets the body, I'm scrutinizing that and I'm looking for cracks. If there's been any damage or the guitar's had a fall or something, you might notice that the shellac or the finish on the guitar is chipped or broken in that spot. That also could indicate a previous repair has been attempted or done on the guitar. In either case, I don't want to see anything there. I want to see nothing but a perfect connection for the neck to the guitar, and I want that action to be fairly playable. Okay, so what else could you need to look at? I mean, there's a ton of stuff you should be looking at before you buy an acoustic guitar, but you should go over the whole thing from top to bottom and look for cracks. Are there cracks anywhere in the guitar? And I mean, anywhere in the neck would be bad, anywhere in the headstock would be bad, anywhere in the soundboard itself, definitely not ideal. Cracks in the sides and the back, I'm less worried about those than everything else I just named, but ultimately you have to just decide, is this a structural thing or is this a cosmetic crack? Cosmetic crack is one thing, you just have to live with how it looks. If this looks like a structural issue, then that's something different and likely you're going to have to pass on this guitar. So we've talked about a bunch of different stuff here, but here's one more thing. And this is probably the number one thing that you should be looking at, because everything else that I just said is important, but it's going to apply to the minority of cases. This is probably the number one thing that you're going to see wrong with guitars when you buy a used acoustic guitar. And it is signs that the bridge itself has started to lift from the face of the guitar. When I see a used guitar I'm thinking of buying, I take it, and the first thing I do is I inspect that joint right there where the bridge meets the face of the soundboard. And I'm looking for anything. A lot of people, so many people, will show you a guitar that's lifting, clearly lifting at that point there. And they'll say about it, it's only lifting a little bit, right? Like you can barely fit a playing card under there. There is only not lifting at all or has begun the process of failing. Those are the only two conditions here. So any deficiency noted whatsoever in that joint showing that the bridge is lifting from the soundboard indicates that this is just a matter of time before the bridge is going to rip off. And you might get lucky. You could play it for 5 or 10 years like that, or it could rip off as soon as you string it up. You know, it really could go either way, but it's already failed. So in that sense, I don't want to see that. Now, there's some things which are fixable on a guitar and some things which are not. You know, a luthier can definitely fix any of the things that I'm talking about here, but then it just comes down to money. Could the average person fix stuff like this? Well, I guess I could answer that for you in one way. I'm an average guy, and I didn't, you know, grow up fixing guitars. I did play them my whole life, but I recently started doing things like bridge repairs, where I remove a failing bridge and I put it back on the guitar. Because when you got 100 guitars and all of them need to have bridge resets, like you can't be paying people to do all this. I'm like, oh, I'll just have to figure it out for myself. And I did. Like, YouTube's your friend. I learned a ton of stuff, and I think I've probably done 12 or 15 of them now. Each and every one's successful. The first one, the least successful. You know, I probably manhandled the thing a little bit and put some extra scratches and gouges in there where they didn't necessarily need to be. And the subsequent times I've attempted this, it's all been greater success with less damage and virtually no damage done to the guitars from the subsequent repairs I've done. Maybe working on, you know, guitars and doing bridge resets is not for every person, but maybe it is something that you want to consider taking on with YouTube as your friend and a little Google foo, and you can figure out how to do these kinds of repairs for yourself using not too expensive of equipment and not too expensive of components, and you could save yourself a bundle. But all the better if you can just inspect the guitar and not have any bridge repairs that are gonna, you know, again, I can't tell you. I'd say the majority of used guitars that I look at need bridge repair work done. And the majority of those owners, even after asking 3 times, is there any lift happening on that bridge? Nope. It's 100% good. And 9 times out of 10, I go there and actually see the guitar. It's like, this is not good. This bridge is halfway torn off here. So, you know, the price has to reflect this. And so that's what I'm looking for. I check the neck angle. I check for any damage around the neck. I check for any cracks in the guitar. And then I check for that connection where the bridge meets the soundboard. And if a guitar passes all of that stuff, looks good, sounds good, I'll consider buying it. I mean, we could probably make an hour or more content here about what to look for. Maybe I will make a longer video talking about this, but this should be enough to point you in the right direction to save you from buying a guitar that's going to end up being unplayable or have a fatal flaw that you're not going to be able to repair yourself. I hope you found this information helpful. Thank you for sticking around and watching to the end of this video, and I'll see you soon.